Okay, so welcome to week 2. This is exciting. So far, if you've gone through the first module, you have set up your Facebook group, you've set up your sample request form, and you've set up your first party in your virtual office, and you're like, okay, what's the next step? So the next step is to start growing your group. And I'm going to teach you a few ways to grow your group. Again down the road, but right now we're going to focus on just getting some people in there for your launch party, so that way you can start making some money and make back your investment. So we're going to talk about the FRANKS list and kind of the way people have talked about it in the past, and like the best way to use it, and how to utilize it in the future as well. So FRANKS list, if you haven't heard of the FRANKS list, it's an acronym, and it basically helps you think about people who you can invite to your group. These are mostly like friends and family. So F stands for friends, R stands for relatives, A stands for acquaintances, N is neighbors, K is kid connections. Like, these are people who, like, your daughter's ballet class, or like sports or school, that sort of thing. The moms of like the kids kind of thing. And then S is social media. So what you'll do is, so you've set up your group, and right now it just is your launch party. And so what you'll do is, there's a form, I'm going to attach it with this video. You go through and you fill out your FRANKS list. So you think about 10 friends, 10 relatives, 10 acquaintances, 10 neighbors, 10 kid connections, 10 social media people that you could invite. So that's 60 people that you can invite to your party. And you kind of want to hope that like at least half will come. And when you are thinking of these people, the biggest mistake people make in the business right from the get-go is, oh my gosh, this product is perfect for everybody, which is not true. Not everybody likes the product, and it's not perfect for everybody who has fingernails. So you definitely do want to think about people when you're going through your FRANKS list. You definitely want to think about people who would like the product. So think about your friends or acquaintances or relatives, neighbors who like love to get their nails done, love to paint their nails, are always painting their nails, are fashionable. Think about people who would actually like the product before you invite them. Don't just like invite someone you've never talked to for 10 years. Think about like an acquaintance is someone who you're acquainted, but it's not like you haven't spoken in like forever. Basically, you want to avoid being a spammy weirdo. So direct sales kind of gets this like stigma of negativity, because a lot of times what happens is people join the company and then they make their FRANKS list and they spam their friends and family, and they kind of lose friendships over it. And so I'm in the business of keeping friendships and building relationships. And so if I've got a family member who's just not into the product, which I do, and if I've got friends who are not into the product, which I do, that's totally fine. And I just don't bring it up, and I don't let it affect our relationship at all. And so definitely recommend doing that from the get-go, thinking of people who actually would like the product, and don't just ask them because they're your best friend and you just expect the support if they never even paint their nails kind of thing. So just something to think about there. So go through and fill out your FRANKS list, and then what you're going to do is start the inviting process. And what this looks like is through personal messaging. So you don't want to just like go through and invite everybody in your group and just add them to your group and not send them a personal message and not tell them anything about it. You definitely want to send every single person you invite a message. And there's 2 ways to do it. You can either send them your group link, or you can invite them with a message and then send them a personal message. So I will kind of show you what that looks like I'm going to share my screen with you to kind of explain that a little better. So, okay, so up here, this is just our business boot camp right here, but up here, you can do this from a computer. You can't really do this from a phone. So just so you know, this needs to be done from a computer, but when you go to invite members up here in this section, you see this little piece of paper right here. You click on it and it opens up. You can write a note to include with your invite. So then you can just write a little note right in here that says, hey, I just started this business. I'm really excited about it, and I feel like it's a product that you really, really like, if you're interested in coming and checking it out, be happy to give you a sample to try it out. And, you know, this is the group kind of thing. So then what happens when you press invite? So, sorry, tip here. Write your message first, then enter the name, and then press invite. If you just write a name and like press enter at all, it just automatically invites them without the message. So make sure that you type the message first, then put the name, and then press invite. But anyway, what happens is once you do that, Facebook then sends them a notification that says you've been invited to so-and-so's group. And then when they go and click on that notification, they will see a note from you that's like personalized to them that tells them why you're inviting them to the group. And then it's like not spammy or weird, and they understand why you're inviting them, and it's more personable and just nice. So definitely go that route if you're going to do the inviting. The other thing you can do is you can just send a message like that in a personal message or a text message, and then give the link to your group. And that's just the URL. So the URL at the top of the desktop, or from your phone, you go into the top right corner, click on that in your group, and then it's a share group, and then press that and copy link. Then you can send that link to your guests that you're inviting. So that's kind of how you set up your group and then get people into it. And then what happens is, I'll just kind of touch on in the future, I'll probably touch on this more in another video, but basically you're going to want to ask from your launch party, you're going to want to ask 10 people to host a party for you, and hope that at least half of them say that they will. So the goal is 6 for success. So you try and get 6 party hostesses and from your friends and family. Then what happens is they invite their whole networks, and you don't know their whole networks. And so then your network starts growing. So you invite all of those people to your group. And then what'll happen is you'll get some more hostesses from those parties, and then they have parties and they invite all their network. And so you see it just starts fanning out, where, you know, you started with your sister-in-law, and then she invited all her friends, and you got 3 hostesses and had 3 more parties, and they invited all their friends. And so you're meeting more people, your network is expanding, and you're going away from just selling to your friends and family. So like if your Facebook group doesn't grow after having your launch party, it's because you're not doing parties and you're not putting the work in to invite other people to your group. And so that's kind of how like the organic growth happens. And then there are also going to be some strategies we'll talk about later on in a couple more weeks of the training, where we'll talk about how you can grow your group through networking in other groups and kind of getting some more traffic your way. And this is also something that helps with recruiting as well. And then we'll also actually go into like paid advertisement and automation email sequences. So okay, so that's that for the Franks list and setting up your launch. Or you want to have people in there in order to get your launch party rolling. And then the other thing I will say is you can keep a shopping link open for 60 days. And so when I did my launch party, it was a 60-day long launch party. I didn't really have like a specific night that I did like a girls' night. You totally can. But what I did was I would just post like every day, and then as new people would come, I would mail them a sample, and then I would just kind of like it was like 60 days of just getting people in my group, getting samples out, just getting the word out, and getting them to try it on and then order. And so I was able to hit my jump starts with sales. But I also, not only was my party going for 60 days, but I was getting other parties going during my launch as well. So, okay, so your homework for this video is to either print out your Franks list or make a Franks list, and then invite 60 people on your Franks list to the party, and then personal message all of them, okay? So go ahead and do the homework, and then you can move on to the next video.